Good day, everyone. Hope you have a lovely day. And let's fix something. You know that kind of feeling. I'm quite happy when I'm receiving such kind of job. This is job from another town, and guess what? This job is coming from a subscriber who is around 7 to 800 kilometers away from Gwanda, from my hometown. Yeah, I came from Karoi. So yeah, I take the subscriber as my real brother. So we have to help the subscriber. And what the subscriber is saying, I'm a technician based in Karoi, only specializing in cell phone repairs, and he bring this motherboard for repair here by bus. Huh? It's quite fantastic when someone trusts you from a distance. So we have to help the subscriber. And I also want to thank you on how the channel is growing. It's growing very fast. And most of my subscribers, they are coming from South Africa. Thank you, South Africa, for supporting the channel. So what is inside this envelope? This is a motherboard. Because I said, you know what, if you are a technician, just strip out the motherboard and send it here. He said the laptop is not turning on, is not doing anything. So to BST African Electronics Surgery Rwanda, HP Compaq CQ57 motherboard not turning on from Karoi Town, CBT Farai Tech. Okay, thank you, Farai, for trusting the company. So we need to open. This is just an envelope, so we can break this because we shall resend the motherboard with our own package. Let's see what is here. Oh, that's the motherboard. That's the motherboard. Huh? So what is here? Like reflowing? Why this plastic looks so fun? Like the motherboard has been... No, I can't see like flags or anything which shows that the motherboard had been tampered with. So what do we have here? We do have a nice motherboard for HP Compaq CQ57. So 2 gig DDR3 RAM. We have the fan, and we do have the heat sink, and underneath the heat sink we have the processor. Okay, this is some kind of old laptop. Huh? That's what you have to know about Zimbabwe. That is the reason why I said it's very hard to get rich doing electronics, especially in my country, because people, they are still 10-15 years behind technology. So coming with devices of less value, you can't charge customer more. At the end, you charge sick man. But for someone who is in the United States or in UK or in the USA, yeah, you can make it, because people, they are coming with the devices for maybe $1,000 US, and the repair cost can go up to $1,000 up to $100 US. But here, people, they are using on average $150 to $200 US or up to $300 US. The value of machine, obviously, repair cost will be low. So here we have a nice motherboard. That is CMOS battery, Intel PCH, the graphic chip, coils for the power supplies, ITE 8518E, that the E.T.C chip. So we have to see. On HP is very easy. If we plug in the charger, we must have light here. So that's the first step that we have to do here. So let me look for the for my power supply, the right tip for the HP. We need the right nozzle for the HP. We need the right nozzle, and we need to connect the power supply. Let's set to 19.56 around 3.6 amps. So I'll connect this to the charger plugged, and we don't have light. You can see no light, no sign of life. It's just dead, so there's no need even to test. Okay, so why we don't have light, no one knows, but I believe something is wrong with the power supplies. So the first step, we have the E.T.C chip here, and here we have the BIOS chip. On pin number 8 of the BIOS, that's the VCC pin, we must have 3.3 volts, and we have 0. Okay, we do have some ceramic capacitors, which I believe they are connected on the 19 volts power line. 0 this side 0. 0 here, 0. It seems as if there's no voltage here. So I'll unplug here the charger. You know what? Let's go back in time and explain a few things about how the laptop motherboards are working. I explained these things several times, but you know, human minds, they always forget. Let's do it again. So let me look for a piece of paper. I found this paper. Let's explain a few things, how the laptop motherboard is working. Because this is coming from our subscriber, we need to have enough explanation here before we fix this, or before we do anything. Maybe in the next time, I wish to see the subscriber fixing the laptops in the near future, because he said he's specializing in laptops. And I'm always against people who do specialization, because learning electronics, you should be able to fix anything. Anyway, so what do we have on the laptop? We have the charging port. That's the charging port. And we have the plus 19 volts. We have the middle pin, which is going to the BQ chip, just to identify the charging current and the likes. When we have ground, that's the ground. Where the plus is going, we don't care about the ground. We care about the plus. The plus is going to the first MOSFET. These are just the switches. And in these days, I found like a channel N MOSFET. Channel N MOSFET, 4 pins together, and 3 pins together here on the output and the gate. And this is just a switch. We can call this M to the power 1. And after that, we have the second MOSFET, 3 pins together, and we have the gate, and we have 4 pins on the output. This is also a switch, M to the power 2. What these switches they are doing, they are cutting down the power in case of anything happen, like shorted main 19 volts power rail, or if anything happens on the motherboard, they are there to protect the rest of the motherboard. So You can find channel N MOSFET or channel, they can be channel P, but in most cases they are channel N MOSFET. They are switching devices. They are just passing 19 volts from drain to source or from source to drain. That's why in most cases, if we don't have 19 here, you can jump with a wire from this end to this far end. And what the gate is doing, that the gate is going to the BQ chip. That's the BQ chip. And after that, we have the current resistor or a current sensor, very low ohms current sensor, around 0.5 to maybe 0.9 ohms current sensor. And what this current sensor is doing, before the current sensor is sending signal to the BQ chip, and after the current sensor is also communicating with the BQ chip. If there is overcurrent or under voltage, it will send this signal to the BQ chip, and the BQ chip, what it's doing is communicating with the EC chip to cut down the power. So if we don't have light, maybe the 19 volts is not passing here, or the 19 volts it is present, but on other power supplies, because this is the VCC point. From this point, the 19 volts is going to 1.5 volts, is going to 5 volts, is going to 3.3 volts. And this is 3.3 volts. It is the voltage which is always on, even if the laptop is off. So what I want to do before we check some voltage, let's do visual inspection to see if everything is okay on the motherboard, and then we can check some voltage here. Okay, so that's the issue about the motherboards, how the motherboards are working. And 99% of the motherboards had got same sequence, except or maybe on the MacBooks or on some kind of netbooks. That's where you find different configuration on the input circuit. On some laptops here, before the input, you find a diode there. And I found this diode many. This is just an external diode. I found this external diode shorted to ground. And in that way, the 19 volts won't pass to the rest of the motherboard, and the laptop will die. So let's see here. We have the charging port here. And if we check next to the charging port, we have those MOSFETs. You see those MOSFETs in serial mode. This one and this one, and the black thing, that the current sensor, that the input circuit is very clear. So what I will do, let's go on a microscope. Let's go on a microscope and check few things. We are allowed to check few things on a microscope. That's the input section. We have the charging port here and the red wire, and we have the first MOSFET, second MOSFET, and that's the current sensor. You see the current sensor, and from this point the voltage is going everywhere. Okay, so what else do we have? Those are power supplies. And here on the other side we do have some components. That you see the E.T.C controller, the microcontroller. The microcontroller, some of the pins there looks dodgy. Seems like it's water damage. Yeah, it is water damage. Yeah. Come on, check here. Maybe you can't see. Maybe you can see. Check here. Huh? What do you think about this MOSFET and those capacitors? This is some kind of water damage job. So, even here, check this chip. Huh? So you have to deal with the water damage thing. So how we are dealing with a water damage motherboard? Huh? The first thing before checking anything, we have to clean the motherboard with isopropyl alcohol. That's what we have to do. Just to clean the motherboard. And what is this? Huh? What is this thing? Huh? Let's clean this motherboard. Cleaning the motherboard. Let's dry up the motherboard. It's dry. So what I would do, we have to put flux there to insulate the IC against corrosion. Okay, we have to reflow the chip so that you protect the IC against corrosion. That's all what you have to do. And that's all. That's all what you have to do. And the next place is this one. Check what is here. Maybe you can't see. But check what is here. This is some kind of corrosion. Some kind of water damage. Okay. So let's clean here. Let's clean here. Same thing. Yeah, all the pins there look solid. So I think we are lucky here. So drying up the board. Same thing. We have to use flux again. Just to insulate the MOSFET against what? Corrosion. I'm reheating the MOSFET just to see if the MOSFET is moving. And that's good. That's good. So lastly, the third place with corrosion is on the E.C chip. We need to do some cleaning on the microcontroller itself. Some pins, they look corroded. So again, we clean the chip. Same issue. Same thing. I'm using the Amtech flux just to make sure everything is okay. Insulation. That's okay. We don't want to put too much heat on the E.C chip. There's nothing to clean here. So that's all. That's all what you have to do. So after cleaning, we can check where our voltage is ending, why the motherboard is not turning on. That's what we can do after cleaning the motherboard. We have seen how we can treat this some kind of water damage job, and probably our subscriber did not see that there are some corroded components. The E.C chip is still warm, but we can test diode mode. Let's see, like, do we have a shorted main 19 volts power rail? Let's start from the 3.3 going to the main 19 volts. Let's start on the different direction, okay? So on the pin number 4 of the BIOS is beeping to ground. Pin number 8 is not beeping. That's a good sign. Okay. On ceramic capacitors connected on the 19 volts power line, this side is ground, the other side is not beeping. That's a good sign. On a different power supply, beeping, the other side not beeping. Okay. What about in coils? It's beeping. That's the vehicle section, the processor power supply. It's normal to have such kind of beep because this is a low ohms power rail. Okay? The processor is working with 1 volt. This is the resistance of processor and the GPU. So it's very common for these coils to beep to ground. Don't make this confusion to think it's beeping to ground the coil, so it's shorted to ground. No, that's the resistance of the processor. Okay? Thank you. So here, this looks like the RAM power supply and it's not beeping to ground. Here we have 3 more coils. And all of them, they are not beeping. What do I think about these coils? I believe this is the 3.3 and 5 volts power supply. And the third coil is for the charging circuit, you know. The coil which is there for the power supply to charge the battery. So let's test. Let's test to see. Same thing, same voltage. On. And the fan is spinning. It's taking 21, 800, 900 milliamps. And the fan is spinning. I can't believe. Huh? And what do you think do we have here? We have the light. You can see that LED on the charging port. And on the other side, we have this light. Huh? And the board just starts by itself. How is that possible? Okay. Let's confirm some voltages. Because at this point, the problem with this motherboard came like this. No HDMI port. So I can't put to the external screen. But we can confirm if the board has just started working by just cleaning the components. Let's measure some voltages. 19 volts on those ceramic capacitors. 19 volts, you can see on the screen. On a different power supply. 19 on the VCC, that is the last pin of the BIOS. We must have 3.3 there. Here 3.3, you can see on the screen. On coils, yeah, the fan is still spinning. The board just starts. Here on these 3 coils, which I said is the 3.35 volts and the charging. Here, we have 5 volts. You can see the second one is 3.3 volts. The last one is 0, because this one is not necessary to have voltage there, because the batteries are being charged on current basis, not on voltage. Okay? $3.3. On this one, 1.5. And this is the RAM. This is the RAM voltage. If I'm to check on the RAM itself, we must have something like 1.5 volts. We must have that kind of voltage. $1.5. You can see on the screen 1.5 volts. On these power supplies, this one is off, and this one it's 1.17 volts. That's the processor. Okay. And 0.6, that's the GPU. And 1.17 volts, that's for the processor, and 1 volt for the GPU. So at this point, I will confirm that the motherboard is working. And it's still spinning. Here is supposed to be the connector for the power on button. 3.3. Let's see if I can power off the board with a tweezer. Let's power off this board. The board is off. Check the LED. No LED here. It's off. Let me power on the motherboard again. First pin, no. Second, no. Third, shorting third pin to ground, and the board just started. The fan is spinning at full speed, and we have the LED on here. So, you know, sometimes visual inspection is very important. So it's not necessarily when a motherboard is not turning on that it's a shorted capacitor or something. We've learned something today. This motherboard died due to water damage, and at some point, maybe the MOSFETs were not. Maybe the first MOSFET, the problem we didn't check at first. But what do I think happened with the first MOSFET? The MOSFET sent signal that, oh, here is a problem, and it is cutting down the 19 volts to the rest of the motherboard. But anyway, it's fixed. And I'll pray for this board to have picture when we send it back, because there's no way we can test it here. But yeah, that's how you can diagnose and fix a dead laptop motherboard. So what can I say? Just have a nice day. And yeah, it is my wish for people to learn electronics, not just specializing on phones or TVs, but just to fix anything. Probably it is the future. So like, subscribe, don't forget to turn on the notification bell for future updates. Let's call it a day, okay? See you on the next one. Bye.